a flare again in Houston. It looks like Scott Service wanted to see what happened, but you had Julio Rodriguez get hit twice. He wasn't too happy about that. The Astros, unfortunately, got hit a lot. That when I mean the Astros, I mean the pitching staff. It was not a great game for the Houston Astros. And I know that Alvarez had a good game. Urquidy did not have a good game. But we have some stuff to talk about on this Locked On Astros podcast that starts now. Let's go.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talk Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can I find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and Instagram, and Astros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive. I'm positive the Mariners won't be in the playoffs. Always Stros.
Alrighty. Well, the Astros did lose a series to the Mariners, and that is something that sucks. But All-Star voting's out, and we're going to have a special show tomorrow that's going to kind of say who do we predict is going to make the All-Star team. So that's something to look forward to for all our Locked On Astros fans that make us your first listen every day. And speaking of which, have you subscribed to us on YouTube? It's really easy. Just go to YouTube, search up Locked On Astros, press that little subscribe button, and just make us your first listen. On your way to work, just go and listen to us on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Just check us out. Locked On Astros. It's really easy. So, yeah, after Justin Verlander threw his gem on, Tuesday night, Monday, it was an earlier start, and it just looked like the Astros got the early lead. It looked like we're going to talk about the Jose Altuve running situation in a little bit, but it just seemed like after the first inning, everything just kind of fell apart. Actually, the Astros had a lead, and then in the fourth inning, everything kind of fell apart for Jose Urquidy. He looked very hittable. Things just didn't look right, and it just seems like I thought that there's going to be some warnings thrown, especially after what happened in the last in game one of the series with all the hitting back and forth, and especially what the Mariners did to Jose Altuve. They basically Munoz threw a 100-mile-per-hour fastball over Jose Altuve's head, and then you see Julio Rodriguez get hit twice. There's a little bit of bad blood being between these two teams. Are they Selena Gomez and Taylor Swift here?
Oh wow, that's wow, that's out of left field. I forgot she even existed. I mean Taylor Swift, that is. But yeah, so the Astros are 6-6 on the season against the Mariners. I think they lost like all three series or something. I don't know. They lost 3 series to them already. Something like that. That's okay. We're going to crown the Mariners regular season champions of the Seattle-Houston series, and they can take that consolation prize. CS Rise is more like CS Drown. That place is a wasteland for baseball right now. They're not playing very good baseball. They did beat the Astros 2 out of 3, so we'll give them credit. They came in, they kicked the Astros' tail. They did what they needed to do to win. The Astros clearly didn't do enough. The throwing at batters, the warnings, the ejections, the lack of ejections, the lack of consistency across the board, that's got to be tough. I mean, the umpires can't even have a solid strike zone from series to series. How do we expect them to fairly throw out or toss or warn people when it comes to things like that? It's almost like there's no accountability for these umpires. And when tempers flare, 100-mile-an-hour fastballs are flying over the head of a player, that's too much. And, I understand if your pitcher hits a guy that's high up by his shoulder or his head area, you're naturally going to get mad. You're naturally going to defend your player. Now, did Seth Martinez and both Brandon Bielak purposely hit Julio Rodriguez? I don't know. Do you think they did? I know they quote unquote threw at Altuve. Apparently it didn't warrant much from the umpires. It just seems like these kinds of issues come up and it's a part of the game. But Scott Service really seems to be one of these like pot stirrers. He seems to be a guy that loves to get it started. And I think maybe he thinks that's a winning strategy. I would just tell him to go look at the club's history in the playoffs. And like, well, I guess maybe you haven't tried anything else. I mean, you had King Griffey Jr. couldn't even win then. So, I don't know. I'm just glad to be done with Seattle for right now. I'm glad the Astros have a day off. Some of these players need a day off. And we need to talk about it at some point in this show. Jose Urquidy is making it really easy for me to think that, Hunter Brown may need to come up here sooner rather than later. Maybe I'm a little bit panic mode. But Eric, Jose Urquidy, in his last, oh my gosh, I just read it to you. In his last several starts, okay, his last 5 starts, 26.1 innings pitched, 42 hits, and a 5.86 ERA. I mean, he sounds like a Pirates pitcher.
Yeah, and I know his ERA was like 4.56 before today's game or something like that. I think what is it now? It's 5.04. He gave up 4 runs and 4 1/3 innings. He looked like he was doing okay. Then he gave up I was looking at this guy's stats when he was at bat. I'm like, oh, this is a 176 hitter. Their catcher, Rayleigh, he was batting 167 with a low OPS, but he had 6 home runs. And then right when I was processing that, how does he have so many home runs with batting 176? I'm like, oh, look, wow. Because I was
Right
at the
there.
game.
There he goes. He
right
sends one
right
to the
into the
outfield.
Astros bullpen. And then Kyle Tucker kind of crashed into the bullpen. And I was kind of worried about him getting hurt there. But apparently he was fine. And then the other home run was Ty France. And, of course, Chandler Rome had to say, well, that the game is now untied there. So that was actually a pretty good one there. Chandler Rome saying it's untied by Tied France there. But yeah.
I see. Wow. Yeah, I'm sure that took 5 minutes to come up with. Good job, Rome.
So, but otherwise, I think that Urquidy or it's a tie game, or I forgot what happened, but it's just like Urquidy was not. He didn't have his best stuff. He had 4 walks. I think that was his matched his season high.
Right. I mean, in the 3rd inning, he gave up the 1 run. Like you said, in the 4th inning, he gave up 3 runs. It was then 4-3. But we talked about this before the show. The Astros should have scored at least 5 runs in this game.
Right.
They missed out on 2 runs where Jose Altuve got thrown out going home on a fielder's choice. Now, with that play, Eric, the object was to go on contact. The problem was the ball was hit to his side of the field. I wouldn't have had as much of a problem Jose continuing to run had the ball been hit to the right side of the field, but it was hit to his side. And typically, of course, this is like armchair quarterback stuff. Like, I'm not on the field, but with Jose Altuve's history of not great base running, you would think that he would at least kind of pause a little bit, wait to see if that ball's caught, and then maybe get back to third. Because if he's on third, the next guy up, what does he do? I mean, Bregman ends up scoring, but then if they're on base, when Alvarez gets up, not only does Bregman score, but the Astros score, and they're up 2-0. That's in the 1st inning instead of being down. And at one point, they could have still been up 5-4. The game, would it have gone differently? I don't know if it would have changed anything. But there were 2 base running mistakes, and Gary Pettis wheeled him home with his windmill. Someone needs to tape his arm to his side because he keeps sending runners home and they're getting nailed. I don't know why he sent Altuve. There's no way Altuve was going to beat that. We've seen that happen more than once. We love Gary Pettis, great guy, stalwart of the team. But, it's a judgment call every time you're out there. Yeah. So it's easy to nitpick, right?
Yeah. And then that situation, if he would have just stayed at third base, go ahead and read what happened after he got thrown out at home plate. Was that the 2nd inning or was that the 1st inning?
No, that was the 1st inning where he got thrown out. Yeah. Because he walked. Yeah, he walked and he made it all the way to third. and he got thrown out because of the hit by Alex Bregman. Remember Bregman? That's what I said.
Well, yeah, that's what I
Reached on
said.
a fielder's choice.
No. Let's go to the third inning.
Oh, the
So
30. Oh,
that's
okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were. I was like, wait. I just went over that. Sorry, my bad.
yeah.
I misunderstood what you said. So basically, what happened was right here. Alex Bregman singled on a sharp line drive to left center. Jesse Winker, Jose Altuve was thrown out at home on the throw.
Right.
Then left fielder Jesse Winker to catcher Cal Riley. Bregman got to second. Altuve had no business being sent because if Alvarez doubles there, that's 2 runs instead of 1 run.
Right.
And so then the Astros are up 4-1. At the end of the day, I don't know that it would have mattered. I mean, because they still gave up 6 runs total. So even if they had 5, they still would have lost by 1 run. But it's just a frustrating loss because the Seattle Mariners are underperforming. They're not playing their best baseball. They've got players that are having good seasons offensively. Their pitchers, I mean, Logan Gilbert is really, I guess, their ace. It's definitely not Robbie Ray. It's definitely not flexing. So go figure. The youngest pitcher is their best pitcher.
Yeah, and I just think that if Altuve didn't get out, then maybe you can continue building on the runs, and you would have one more out to deal with, and just having all the building success you can have, like a Built Bar. And unfortunately, Pettis just sent him home, and it just didn't work out. And we'll talk some more about the Astros offense, especially Alvarez in second. But I'm kind of hungry. What about Built Bar, Brett?
I was going to say, well, you got a fridge behind you. Grab a Built Bar, right? Because you probably have caramel brownie in your fridge. And if you don't deny it. You know you do. Don't act like you don't love them because we love them. Do you love chewy chocolatey brownie? What about caramel brownie with caramel swirled on top? So good. What if I told you that you can have all that chewy chocolatey deliciousness plus 7 grams of protein? Well, you're in luck because caramel brownie bars are available at built.com right now. Forget about dessert. These are better than dessert. Plus, the macros are unreal. 130 calories, 17 grams of protein, and only 4 grams of sugar. I would replace a regular brownie with Built's caramel brownie bar in a heartbeat. I've actually done it. So sue me. No, wait, don't do that. That's a bad idea. The best part, caramel brownie bars are covered in 100% real chocolate. Like, this is for real, folks. With Built, you can sacrifice all the extra calories for this Built Bar. So go to Built.com and use a promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off your order. Use a promo code LOCKED15 at Built.com.
Alrighty, so guys, we have an important job for you, and we've put together a survey so we can learn more about listeners like you, and we want you to help us make your favorite Locked On podcast even better. This is your opportunity to tell us what you like and what you don't like about your Locked On podcast. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey right now to get started. It won't take very long, and everybody that completes the survey can qualify for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Ticketmaster gift cards. To take our audience survey, go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey. Thanks for your help. I don't know why that was so hard to read, but sometimes it's just so hard to read as a third base coach, just where the ball's going to go, like how good an arm the outfielder has. And Gary Pettis just has a split second to kind of make that little decision. And unfortunately, with that one call with Altuve just kind of hurt them. But overall, let's look at the positives from today. Alvarez had a great game, and he was 3 for 4. He had that one double, and that double was crushed, by the way. I was there, and it was crushed. And you have Bregman with a hit. You had Gurriel with a double. And I was there. I'm like, oh, wait, am I here? Is this the start of Gurriel to go ahead and just start hitting? And then, of course, that was the only hit. But
well, but here's the thing. The ball he hit, Eric, was high and up in the zone. That's where he hits. That's a sweet spot. He's been swinging more at balls. His hits have been coming off of balls that are low and away. Mm-hmm. The balls that are high in the zone that he usually takes, like he did today, he's been popping those up and he's been grounding out. So I don't know if he's been rolling over. I don't know what action is causing the reaction of the ball going up in the air or grounding out. but today he squared the ball up, and that may be a sign. And I think you may be onto something. It may be a sign of things that he's working on. The law of averages and the statistics tell me that there's no way Gurriel continues at the kind of stinky level that he's at hitting, because he's too good of a barrel guy. Now, he doesn't quote unquote barrel the baseball by definition, but he can square up a baseball, take it to right field, pull it, or hit it opposite field, especially high in the zone. That's what he did today. I loved it. I saw it. I picked up right. I watched the replay. I was like, okay, boom. That's the baseball that he usually hits. That's the baseball he's been flying out on and grounding out on. So maybe it's a sign of things to flip on that.
You know who did square up a ball, but unfortunately got nothing show out of it? Martin Maldonado, he hit a ball
He did.
deep center field, but Julio Rodriguez made a great catch. And dude, that guy can play some baseball.
Julio Rodriguez
he's exciting.
You know, he is a really good player. I mean, it's why he's number 2 in the Rookie of the Year voting right now. I mean, he is. He
Right,
doesn't lead all offensive categories like Jeremy Pena does, but Julio Rodriguez is catching steam and he's gaining momentum. So I think it puts pressure on Pena, and I know Pena feels that. Now, Pena and him kind of hang out together. They know each other. So maybe it's a friendly rivalry. Maybe those two pushing each other towards the end of the season. It's going to be a fun Rookie of the Year race. No offense, I just don't see Bobby Witt catching fire. We don't have Gorman in the AL. If we had Gorman in the AL, Gorman may be able to take both leagues. He's playing some amazing baseball over in St. Louis.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I at this point, the Mariners are 4th in AL West. They're 26-31. The Astros are 36-21. So what did the Angels do today? Did they win?
The Angels are playing right. They're playing right now, top of the 6 at 0-0.
Okay, so we'll see if the Angels ever win again. I'm sure they're going to win again. I mean,
if they're ever. Hey, man, dude, you want to talk about a turnaround, though, Eric? I mean, just a week ago.
How hot were they? They
2
were
weeks
like
ago. I was like, hold on. Because remember when we did the crossover show with the AL West, everybody kind of, because they were still in between hosts, and we were like, well, the Angels aren't really anybody. And I mean, they were kind of the hind end of everybody's joke. But a team right now, Eric, that is catching fire in the West is the Texas Rangers. And Marcus Semien, I saw a breakdown of him today.
He had 3 homers, right?
This guy, since he's on this like current streak these last several games, he's got like 4 or 5 home runs, and he has figured something out. He was late. I looked at his average, and I was looking at the guys break it down on MLB Network, and they talked about how when you look at his swings and misses and his hits and his outs, you could tell he was late on all his pitches, and he's figured something out. Now, I'm not saying the Rangers are going to challenge the Astros for the number 1 spot, but I don't know who else is going to challenge the Rangers behind us. If the Angels can't figure it out, the Mariners, they're still really suspect when it comes to overall pitching. They've got the offense. They just don't have the pitching overall. It may be a 2-horse race, but there's so many playoff teams coming out of the East. Heck, they may send 4 teams to the playoffs. There may only be 1 out of the West when it's all said and done.
Yeah, and the Rangers keep on adding more talent. This Duran guy came up, Ezekiel Duran. He's coming up and he's hitting pretty good. So he's another prospect that they have. So the Rangers seem to have this.
So they've got Eli White. They got Semien, who's heated up. They've got Seager. I mean, they don't have a bad team. Their pitchers are actually doing a decent job. Colby Allard, guys like that. So, I mean, look, we throw a lot of disrespect at the Rangers. If the Rangers can put together, because I don't like them, but if the Rangers can put together a decent run and they can become a respectable ball club, which they're a lot more respectable than the injured Mike Trout led Angels.
It's the pitching. The pitching is what I'm worried about with them. I mean,
with
the Rangers.
Well, right. But what I'm saying is their pitching has been helping them get these wins. I mean, in May, they were 17-10. I mean, who would have seen that coming?
Yeah. Martin Perez he's been pretty good. Yeah,
Martin Perez is one of those guys. He's consistent.
Dominated the Astros.
All right. Well, you know what? This isn't Locked On Rangers, so forget them. This is not Locked On Southern Oklahoma. This is Locked On Astros.
There's
your team every day.
There's the bread. I know. So, I don't know.
I reeled you in and then I punched you right in the face.
Yeah. So get back to today's game. We did have Brandon Belak make an appearance again.
Sometimes
So
it'd be
this
like
is
that.
yeah. So Belak, he was one of the people that I'm trying to get back to
Yeah,
the
he
game.
was sent to the mound to hit Julio Rodriguez right there. Yes. 3 innings, 2 hits, one earned run, one strikeout, and one walk.
One hit batter.
And one hit batter. There you go. Yes, and then Seth Martinez has been stellar. He didn't get any strikeouts today, but he was in a 1 2/3 innings, only one hit, one walk. But after Urquidy, they only gave up one earned run. You wondered if they had a different starter like Hunter Brown, would the outcome have been different?
Okay, do you really think the Astros would bring up Hunter Brown right now and just throw him in a rotation?
No. I'm kind of being tongue in cheek about that.
Well, I know.
But
I'm legitimately
Urquidy,
asking you.
I don't think right now. I think the Astros ride Urquidy into the All-Star break. I really do. I think they wait until the All-Star break because he's one out of 5 or 6 guys in the rotation, right?
Okay.
You ride him out to the All-Star break. If Urquidy is still faltering, do you bring up Hunter Brown? Do you put Urquidy in the bullpen? And then what do you do with Seth Martinez? What do you do with these guys? I mean, I would have to look at the construction of the roster, but then again, is it a thing where maybe they hide Urquidy with like a quote unquote like an injury, a phantom injury, like 15-day IL stint? Can't they do that? I don't know. I know the rules have changed, but
They can, but I think they have. Well, I don't know. They have to have some type of injury. They can't just say, "Oh, you're sick."
COVID protocol, right? I don't know. There's got to be a way for Hunter Brown to get up here if Urquidy continues to misstep the way he is. Our friend Mr. Corona said in the comments earlier, Urquidy's problem is he throws strikes. That's correct. He throws
Right.
strikes. He's very hittable. He's not locating his pitches. Greg Maddux threw strikes, but he located his pitches. I'm not saying Urquidy is Maddux, but if you don't have the high velocity, and he can get up there in the mid 90s if he wants to, but he's not a high velocity guy. He's a location guy.
Okay. Somebody in the comments also mentioned, well, the Mariners go deep in their rotation is better than we're giving them credit for. So let's look at this. So this is before today's game.
Okay.
And so the Houston Astros are second in baseball with 316 and 2/3 innings pitched with a 3.24 ERA. The Mariners are fourth in baseball with 313 and 1/3 innings pitched with a 4.02 ERA. If you're looking at the whip, the Astros have a 115 whip and the Mariners have a 131 whip. The Astros have 284 strikeouts. The Mariners have 273 strikeouts. So, yes, if you're looking at walks, the Astros have 93. The Mariners have 108. I think a lot of that has to do with that brash fellow who was up earlier in the year because he was a little wild, as they say.
But it's like Sam says here, the Mariners are still in fourth place.
Right.
I mean, they may be fourth in pitching, but it's clearly not enough to get it done. I mean, so here's the thing. The problem is the Mariners are not performing. Yes, they have won their last 4 series. They're kind of heating up. There's an ebb and flow to the baseball season. But I have to see more consistency and more winning out of them. And Robbie Ray can't be 4-7 on his record as the high dollar ace that he's being paid, the former Cy Young winner from 2021. That's just not going to cut it. Logan Gilbert can't carry this entire staff. And while I'm willing to give credit where credit is due, they're in fourth place.
Right.
I mean, numbers don't lie. And yeah, they've had decent pitching. It's obviously not as bad as the Angels. The Angels are much dire need of pitching than the Mariners are.
Right. And if you're looking at bullpen, the Astros have a 2.62 ERA with 185 and 2/3 innings pitched. The Mariners are all the way down here. Geez, I have to find where's Waldo. Give me a second. It's a 4.25 and 186 innings pitched. So This isn't the 2021 Mariners bullpen that saved them with all those
Oh
one-run
yeah, no,
victories.
I remember when they traded Kendall Graveman to us, like they were crushed. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
The reverberations through the clubhouse. Hey, by the way, Joseph Smiley, who mentioned that, I think he's a Mariners fan, hanging out with
yeah.
us,
We're not saying
locked
you
on
have a bad
Astros.
team. We're not saying you have
No,
a bad team. So
we're like always positive, always Stros.
yeah,
The bottom line is this: I think the Astros are a better team overall. The Astros have grossly overperformed, and the Mariners have played the Astros very well.
right.
When you play good competition, you're supposed to step the game up. And when the good competition doesn't come to play at that level, this is what happens. And now I'm not saying the Astros didn't come out and try, but they clearly didn't match. You've got to match, you've got to counterpunch. It's like a boxing match. If your opponent, if you're favored to beat your opponent, but your opponent comes out swinging and he gets one or two clean hits, then the bottom line is this: you've got to have a good counterpunch. You can't just play defense and hope he doesn't hit you. You've got to punch back. And the Astros today just didn't punch back. I mean, they had plenty of opportunities in late innings. They just didn't do it.
Yeah. And so, I mean, the Astros still got 8 hits. They still got 3 runs. They only struck out 7 times. They had some good hits. It just didn't seem like they just went right to people. And like we talked about earlier, the bad decisions with running. We've seen bad running decisions recently. Like I remember Diaz made some like in a recent, I don't remember exactly what game, but he made some bad decisions on the bases. And it's just like it seems like for a team that should have this veteran leadership, this veteran experience, they just seem to make some really, I mean, I know this one was probably on Pettis for sending him, and I know it's sometimes it pays to be aggressive, catch them, and make them make the great play, but sometimes it's going to burn you. And that's what it did in this game. And like you said, it's probably still not going to have them win this game. But it just
Well,
sucks to lose this type of game.
one thing Samuel says here, he says Framber has yet to face the Mariners. You know, I mean, if Framber goes today, do the Astros win? We can would have, should have, could have, but we didn't. Of course, our Mariners fan says, "Hey, we took 3 out of 4 against you guys." Yes, you did, and props to you guys. Right here, Joseph says, "I'm all H Town. I'm just saying there are good pitchers out there, and sometimes we will fall short. Not worried. Can't wait for the Yankees in 2 weeks." I can't wait for the Yankees in 2 weeks either. But you know what I hope? I hope that this offense wakes up a little bit more consistently and puts up crooked numbers on the board, because the Yankees right now, Aaron Judge is probably the leader for the MVP vote this year. I don't see. I think it's a 2-horse race right now, or actually a 3-horse race. I think it's between um, Aaron Judge, Yordan Alvarez, and someone like Rafael Devers. I actually have a top 5 that I'm going to release tomorrow, my top 5 AL MVP candidates. But I mean, the way Aaron Judge is hitting, you can't argue with. He's playing. I mean, he is in a contract year. He wants to get paid by the Yankees. He wants to get paid by whoever. But Yordan Alvarez, he got paid, and he's playing like, I mean, not necessarily with like someone with their hair on fire, but he just mashes, man. He was 3
Yeah.
for 4 today. He was almost the entire offense today. And if it wasn't for Yordan Alvarez, they would have had 1 run today. So
Right. So Alvarez he's reached base in 10 consecutive games, according to Brian McTaggart. He's batting 500, 19 for 38 with 2 doubles, 1 triple, 5 home runs, 13 RBIs, a 568 on base percentage, a 1,000 slugging percentage, and a 1.568 on base percentage during that span. So that's pretty good, and it's worth every cent that the Astros did. And I still think they got a pretty good deal. So I know we're going to talk about everything else in tomorrow's show. But I do want to kind of talk about the Astro starters for the Marlins series. It's going to be Friday. It's going to be Luis Garcia. Saturday, it's going to be Framber Valdez. And Sunday, it's going to be Justin Verlander on 4 days rest. Only the second time he's done it this season. So
yeah, definitely. And we have talked about this, Eric. we've talked about launching our first giveaway, and I don't have the box with me. I was going to show it to y'all if you're watching. If you're not watching, it doesn't matter. But I need y'all, if you're listening, I need you to write this email address down. I need you to write down lockedonastros@gmail. lockedonastros@gmail. And we simply want you to
.com.
send us an email. Yeah, .com. Yeah, please use .com. Hopefully they know that. lockedonastros@gmail.com. When you email us, I want you to send us your favorite Astros player and then just put subscribed. Let us know that you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. Okay? Now, do that. Send us those emails. We're going to announce that on Twitter, and this is going to be for one of the ALCS championship ring giveaway rings. And
not this year's.
No, 29. Yeah, but I believe it's
okay.
the 2019
I just want to make
ALCS
sure that's
championship
clear.
ring. Yeah. So for the 2019 ALCS ring giveaway, if you're listening, go to lockedonastros@gmail.com. Send us your favorite Astros player and the word subscribed so that we know you're subscribed to YouTube. And don't lie to us, because we'll find out. We'll have the Googles look you up and make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Share that with a friend. Let them know. Give the email out to friends, have them send it to us, and we'll randomly select a winner. And we will do that on, let's say, what do you want to do? You want to give it a week, or do you want to just go with it on Sunday evening?
We can do it Sunday or Monday, whenever.
Okay. So Sunday or Monday, let's just say Monday. Let's just go with Monday. Monday evening next week, we will announce the winner of the ring, and then we'll figure out when we're going to give away some other things, maybe a bobblehead. So with that, just make sure you go to lockedonastros@gmail.com. Send us your favorite Astros player and the word subscribed. Let us know you subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And Joseph should be smiling at the fact that this is the first time since September 17th through 19th of 2018 that the Mariners have won a series at Minute Maid Park. So Joseph and your Mariners, congratulations. We'll see who finishes in the AL West at the end of the year.
Hey man, we're trying to be nice. Joseph is here hanging out with us.
I'm just giving him some crap.
I know, you just giving him crap. Hey man, he's giving us crap too.
Yeah.
Joseph had mentioned us throwing at Lewis. He said if you hadn't hit Lewis in the head, we would have swept you. Yeah, I know, but I think if the Mariners, manager Scott Service would have shut his trap and not talked a bunch of junk from the dugout, I don't think we would have had the fallout we had the other night. I think he's the reason. I think he should pay Dusty's fine. I think he should be suspended, not the other way around. I'm just saying, dude. I'm just saying.
I guess you missed this from Brian McTaggart earlier.
What's
he
that?
said the Mariners have rallied to tie this game on a homered because the guy's name, the catcher,
what?
they've rallied to.
I didn't
guess
see that.
They're working on their puns today, him and Chandler Rome. So I just saw that. I was scrolling through. I'm like, oh, great. Wow. So anyway, by the way, Christian Wood threw out the first pitch for the at the Astros game today, and so Rockets player threw out the first pitch. So that was pretty awesome. And Jake Myers is on rehab with the Sugarland Space Cowboys, and Myers went 2 for 4 with the double. And Jones started at first base and went 1 for 2 with the sacrifice fly. So we'll see what happens overall with with Jake Myers. But I know a lot of people are getting a little bit frustrated with the production outside of Chas McCormick. And Chas McCormick has his good days and his bad days. But that's what you get when you don't have
that's
a
what you get
superstar
with the Klondike bar. Sorry.
Or Built Bar.
It just reminded me of an old commercial. Oh my God.
I know what you're talking about. Anyway.
All right, dude. So here's the deal. lockedonastros@gmail.com. Your favorite Astros player and the word subscribed for the 2019 ALCS ring giveaway. So let us know.
All right, that's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Make sure you go and send us an email. And make sure you check out our friend Sully over at the Locked On MLB podcast. He'll have a lot of good things to say about the Astros, the Mariners. I think the Mariners are his favorite team, so he'll be super happy about the Mariners winning. But go check out Sully. Go check us out. Make us your first listen every day. My name's Eric Huysman. His name is Brett Chancey. We are the Locked On Astros podcast, and we are your team every day. Go Astros!